Chrissy, if you please call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Hairston. Mr. Hairston is absent. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Brady.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
We have a quorum, and I'd like the record to reflect that Mr. Miller is in attendance.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absence of Anthony Harrison, who is dealing with health issues. Moved and second. All in favor say aye. All right. Chrissy, has anyone signed in for public comment related to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Patrick Grogan.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Grogan. I'm the Community Development Coordinator for the City of University Heights. And I am here today on behalf of Mayor Susan Enfeld, who couldn't be here this morning, and the residents of the City of University Heights to say thank you for considering our project as part of the CDBG funding allocation. As we stated in our application, Cedarbrook Road is in great need of repair, and its reconstruction and repaving will have a great positive impact on the residents there, many of whom continue to follow up with me about our application before you today. Now, as I was writing the grant proposal last fall, Mayor Enfeld reminded me that the City of University Heights has not been awarded a CDBG funding in now over 7 years as she's been mayor. No pressure there when I was writing the grant. So we thank you and the Department of Development for the consideration of our project for funding. Thank you.
Chrissy, has anyone else signed in?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. At this time, I'll have a motion for the approval of our January 4th meeting minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. We have one item on our agenda today. Chrissy, if you read this resolution into the record.
Resolution 2016-0039, making awards to various municipalities in the total amount of $1,486,400 for various municipal grant projects for the 2016 Community Development Block Grant Municipal Grant Program for the period 1/1/2016 through 12/31/2016, as printed on the agenda.
If you'd like to speak to this item.
Good morning, Sarah Parks Jackson with the Department of Development. Today we're asking for approval of our municipal grant awards. The Community Development Block Grant Funds are an annual allocation that the department receives from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Of the county's 59 political subdivisions, 51 of those are members of the urban county and therefore eligible to participate in the program. 6 are what we call entitlement communities that receive their own CDBG funds and therefore are not eligible to participate. And then there's 2 communities who have just chosen not to be part of the urban county. These communities have signed a cooperation agreement with the county to be included and to participate in the programs that we offer. The Muni Grant requests the submission of projects and programs that meet the national objective of benefiting low to moderate income persons and aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight. The 2016 Muni Grant process actually began May 27th when we had a meeting with the communities to provide feedback on our Muni Grant program and on our storefront renovation program. On August 7th, we sent a final draft out to all the communities for them to comment and edit. On August 27th, another meeting was held with those representatives to go over the program and the submission requirements. We covered the application and the guidelines with the participants and informed them that the end date or the submission date would be October 30th. The official Muni Grant application was actually released on August 28th. We have $1.5 million available with a maximum grant award of $150,000. 25 communities submitted applications for a total of $3.5 million. We had a committee that reviewed each application thoroughly. The review committee consisted of representatives from the Department of Development, the Department of Public Works, and the Planning Commission. We normally would have a representative from one of the entitlement communities, but that person was unable to participate because of other obligations. So the department is therefore requesting approval of our Muni Grant Awards to the cities as identified. Open for questions. Oh, and if I may add, we have representatives in the audience from Mayfield Heights, Berea, University Heights, Garfield Heights, and a student from Trinity High School.
Sarah, take me back. Over the last few years, I know there were, you mentioned how the communities have given you feedback over the program. Give us a little more insight into some of the concerns that were raised by the community and how the county addressed those.
A lot of the feedback we received on the municipal grant program actually centered around the fact that we do a lot of streets. So we explained to them that through new legislation from this body, that the program was now open to any eligible CDBG activity, and therefore they could submit anything that was eligible. What happened this year is we actually, out of the 25, we received 10 road projects, 6 sidewalk ADA projects, a couple of town centers, safety, exterior maintenance, baseball field, arts. So that was one of the concerns. One of the other concerns was that they wanted to be able to see previous applications. Those are now posted on our website for everybody to view, so they no longer have to call the office and we email it. More funding for Streetscape. They were informed that because this is an open competition, if Streetscape is in fact what you are applying for, then most certainly put it in the application. A lot of the comments regarding the Muni grants involved us trying to find alternate funding to add to it. Like one of the suggestions was, could we set aside money from roads from another pot to just do the roads and leave the CDBG money for something else? So we looked into that. Everyone's funding is tight for the projects that we have. So this is what we were left with for 2016. Always looking to better the program, explore other funding options if they exist.
These projects have are each $150,000. In the past, there have been maybe a few additional dollars. Is that the case this year?
Right now, we don't have any additional dollars, and we just received the actual allocation from HUD. I just got it like yesterday. And doing the calculations, we actually went over the 40% amount in our estimation of 1.5. But when you look at previous years of dollars that did not get spent, and then we roll that back into the program, I think we're comfortable staying at the 1.5.
And I brought that up because I know in the past, if cities are prepared with some shovel-ready projects, those dollars have been used in the past. Is that still the case when monies are available?
When, not under the Muni grant,
Okay.
but when they come to the department with an issue, we always try to work with our communities to see how we can best assist them to get whatever program or project that they have going forward. A lot of times when they have a larger program, what we'll suggest to them, because it's generally a road, is that looking at other resources so that they have the opportunity to couple all that money together. I think Bedford Heights, a couple years ago, had 4 different funding sources to complete the project that they put forward.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Sunny Simon is in attendance. And now we're open to the committee. Councilman Brady.
Ms. Jackson, just trying to understand this a little better. We sent this to this new committee for the first time. It had previously always gone to the Economic Development Committee. I know you said the maximum is $150,000. We got about $1.5 million here, and I just like there must be more money, right? I mean, these communities there must be other funds in these projects besides the 150,000.
Some of them have other
Some of
money,
them,
and
yeah.
some of them don't. It is not a criteria for them to put
No,
in
I didn't mean it
matching.
was a criteria,
No, but
excuse me. Yeah.
some will say,
Well, I'm just kind of wondering, how do you spend exactly $150,000 on a resurfacing program? Used to do some resurfacing programs when I was a councilman in the city of Cleveland, and I know that doesn't go very far. So I just assumed it must be part of a larger project of some kind.
a lot of the cities will break a project up, and I will use Parma Heights, for example. Over the years, they have consistently broken up Ackley Road. And, okay, they got an award for Ackley Road from point A to point B, and then next year they submit from point B to point C. And the cities will break up a road project and keep submitting it in an effort to get funding to get that road completed in its entirety. Some communities will say we will cover, if there's an overage for what we have submitted for, we will cover that overage. We've worked with communities a couple of years ago where, oddly enough, the costs went down from what they had originally estimated. So we let them go a little further, as opposed to saying, no, your application said you were gonna stop at Cross Street B. Go ahead and do it down to Cross Street C, so that they could utilize all the funds that they were granted and also be able to complete a project a little further than they had anticipated.
Thank you. Could you tell, Mr. Chairman, could you tell me just a little bit, if you know, this targeted beautification program in Highland Hills? What is that?
Give me 1 minute.
It's number 4.
Okay. Highland Hills is proposing to install curb ramps, repair or replace sidewalks, remove trees, and provide assistance to make repairs and exterior maintenance improvements to properties of their qualifying homeowners. So they're doing it all within one particular neighborhood, encompassing the homeowners and the entire street, and it's actually,
Do you know if that includes any assessment that they're making of the property owners for any of the improvements?
they did not identify. I know the exterior maintenance program is not an assessment. I'm not sure about the sidewalks because that was not included, but I can check.
Okay. Well, I'm fine, of course, with this. I'm just, again, I know these communities appreciate this help a great deal. And we only have so much to appropriate, but it just, these are very small projects and not inexpensive. And block grant money can be used in very creative ways.
Yes.
And this doesn't seem to be a very creative way to use block grant money. I've seen block grant money used in all kinds of ways that I think stretch the dollars a lot more in terms of being able to do something for the community.
Well,
But,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This portion of the block grant money is part of the agreement that we have with the community, so it's the 40%. The other 60% of the block grant money is for programming that is administered by the department that is available to all 51 communities. Our homeowner rehab program and other programs that we have that are community-wide use the bulk of that 60% to offer those services
Okay,
to everyone.
thank you for clarifying that for me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
To follow that train of thought, on Garfield Heights, you have a resurfacing project on Dressler Avenue. Is that part of a larger project, or is there a point A to point B on Dressler Avenue that is being targeted?
Dressler Avenue had a point A, and I didn't bring it with me, I'm sorry, has a point A to point B. So the possibility that they would submit an application again next year to go from B to C, it strongly exists.
Okay. So how does the ranking, if they've got A to B today, is it a guarantee that they will win the award next time to go from B to C?
No, each year, when applications are submitted, they are reviewed and scored for that particular year. So I use Parma Heights because it has happened. There were 2 years where they got awarded for Ackley Road, and then there was a year that they did not get funding. And then they submitted it again the following year and got funding. So it just depends on how the review committee, when they're scoring, whose application scores higher than the other at the end of the day.
Councilman Miller?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Jackson, I notice of the 10 communities receiving awards, 7 are for road projects and 3 are for sidewalks. Following up on the council president's line, I agree with his concern, and my question is this typical, and has it been this way for a long time, or is it a relatively recent development that most of this particular pot of money is used for roads and sidewalks?
I think in the past, I would estimate 3 to 4 years, as road money from the state decreased, our cities began to ask us more for money to assist them in making these road repairs. Prior to that, with the same amount of money, we tried different things, but segregating the money out and having a pot for parks and recreation and a pot for something else, but that just diluted the fund, or we had mega grants where someone could get $300,000 and then somebody else could get 100. And then we had projects that didn't get completed. Part of what we have to be concerned with is HUD requires us every year to prove that we have actually expended a certain amount of dollars or we have a problem. So when projects don't get completed, then we can't draw down that money, and it's called a times test. Then we don't meet our times test, and the department will threaten to take our funding away from us because we did not meet the test. So the larger projects, because they need more money, they have more money, they also take longer to complete, which then poses a problem for us in attempting to meet our times test with HUD.
Brook Park in my district scored 41 points for their road project, and Berea scored 83 points for their road project. Can you explain how one road project would be different from another road project, that there would be that much difference in the scoring? Can you explain what some of the criteria are, and how is it decided that one road project is favored over another road project?
Actually, when the review committee looks at the applications, we have set questions, and it's a matter of, does that committee have enough information to determine what exactly it is that this community is trying to do? What is the benefit to either low mod income people or in their ITA area? I would say that the applications that score the highest give the committee the most information about who's going to be affected, the outcome, and just palpable information that is already in the application, as opposed to someone saying, and I'm not saying that they did this, but someone saying, we want to resurface ABC Road from this point to this point because it needs repair, versus someone saying this is a well-traveled road and it extends from this municipality to that municipality, is traveled by this many people on a regular basis, offsets certain neighborhoods and that. So the applications that we get vary, and they vary in detail, And that detail is the information that the committee needs to make a decision. And that's also something we go over with the communities every time we meet with them. It's like, answer the question with as much detail as you can, and do not assume that the review committee is familiar with what you're talking about. So give us as much information as possible so that they can make a decision.
Okay. Just one other comment as to we ought to think about lobbying our friends in Columbus to start providing a little more local road money again. You know, I agree that this is not the best use of CDBG money. It should be for more innovative kind of things that are going to create positive community development outcomes, and not something that looks like it's pretty close to routine maintenance, and they just got to get it done and got to find a way to fund it. So they're using this, and we're cooperating as we should, but we should get on the state and try to help address this problem.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. Councilman Gallagher?
Thank you. I agree with Mr. Miller. Our friends in Columbus have done us no favors the past few years. And that needs to change, and maybe new faces in Columbus will do it. I don't know. I don't hold out a lot of hope, but I think some folks will be going down there that'll be able to do something. But the participation on this sheet sends a signal to this council. I hope that the importance, Mr. Miller, in being a council person in a suburb, and you were a councilman in Cleveland in a ward, sometimes routine maintenance is what you need to maintain businesses where they're at, or to do a portion of a road with sidewalks to encourage a business to come in. And in many cases here, I can see that, and having struggled with budgets on the city level and now struggled with budgets on the county level, I think this is sending us a signal on how important these few dollars, and it really doesn't seem like a lot of dollars to us, because now we deal in the millions when before I used to deal in the hundreds. But these are so transformative to these cities to, in essence, just maintain their level where they're at. And we are in discussions with our casino money. And I think this tells us exactly what our partners in the county, the cities and townships in the county, are telling us that they need just to keep their nose above water. So I'm very happy the way these folks came in, and just by having so many road resurfacing projects being on this list tells me that not only the loss of dollars from Columbus coming back to Cuyahoga County, which has been woefully under what we send down there, and that's historic. I don't harbor a lot of hope that we're going to change that in the near future. But this, I think, again, sends a signal to this council that these are needed dollars, and these are cherished dollars. And I know in the case of Berea, they're just over the moon that this money's coming in an attempt to create jobs within their community. So, you know, I know you have a very difficult job to do in determining where the dollars go. And in the past, I've kept on you on some of these to make sure that, you know, everything was above board and fair. But there is so much we can do, and there's only so much that we have. But if we can add to this, I think it would be very important for us to heed the losers, and they're not losers. Those that didn't successfully get money out of this will be coming back time and time again to get something out of this county. And that's the signal we send to our communities. When we came on board, nobody had confidence in this county. And it wasn't because of one incident. It was a career year of 30, 40 years of the county ignoring the local communities, I think they now feel with us that they have a voice and that this is being spread out. So I think we can take a hard look at this and continue on. It's value added, and it is very appreciated. I know that. Thank you.
Any further comments from the committee? Councilwoman Simon?
Thank you. I just want some clarity. We passed an ordinance out of this council last year which expanded the use of funds consistent with the federal guidelines. And would those types of programs or job opportunities come under the 40 or 60%? Is that how you're allocating it? I want to be clear because we broadened the scope of use, but obviously we're seeing this narrow use right now. How did you differentiate the 40 and 60%? I need to be clear about that.
The 40% is muni grants
Okay.
only. And what we did at every meeting that we had with the communities, we explained to them that we had a legislative change which opened the program up to any CDBG eligible activity. So that happened at the May meeting when we made them aware. As we had individual conversations, we made them aware. In August, when we sent the application out for them to look at and edit, which is a common practice, give me comments, give me edits. And then we met with them again before we released the application. So it was said a number of times that you are open and that you are available to apply for any CDBG eligible activity. For example, people asked us about the master plans, and we said that is an eligible activity in the Muni grant process. In our 60%, which is used by the department in programming, we do a variety of CDBG eligible activities. So there's no roads in the 60% that we use for programming. That's homeowner assistance and other services that we provide to the communities for their residents or directly to their residents.
So Shaker Heights, for example, had requested applied for arts and entrepreneurs program. Was that eligible under the Muni grant?
It was eligible and it was reviewed. And one of the things that in the Muni grant review process, the committee looks at is the impact on the number of low to moderate income people that particular project will have. And all we have is what the application says or does not say about who's going to be impacted and how many people are going to be impacted. And then everybody is scored accordingly. So yes, it was an eligible activity. It just did not score high enough this go round.
Okay. Thank you. And I agree, it's unfortunate now that the counties look to provide services and funds for most basic services that used to be just automatic from the local government fund. And we're hitting all the pressures coming to us now to pick up that slack, and it's impossible for the county to pick that slack up. So we're doing our best and appreciate what you're doing, but we really do need to change what's going on in Columbus. But again, we might have one or two newbies who would care about this, but with the gerrymandering and things, until that changes in 5 years, I don't think we're going to see a lot. So the county will be here to do what we can, but thanks for working with the communities, for broadening these opportunities.
Thank you.
Go back and repeat yourself earlier. We know there are 59 communities. How many of those 59 are in the urban community?
51,
51. And how many actually bid at this time?
25,
Was 25, and 10 were awarded.
yes.
Okay. Are there any further questions from the committee? If not, I'll make a motion that we move this resolution to the full council under a second reading suspension. Is that necessary? No.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Just a reminder, we do have a proposed amendment.
Thank you.
Can I ask just one
Is it in the
question?
packet?
Mr. Chair, just quick. When's the next round for the 60%? When's the next round of applications?
The muni
due?
grant applications.
Yeah.
We try to get them out about August or September, so we'll try to keep to that,
Okay.
that schedule to release in August and have them come back in late October to
Okay.
give them 2 months to
Okay.
get the application prepared.
Thanks.
Chrissy, would you read the amendment or present it to us?
Yeah, it's attached to the packet. In the back, it's changing the start time of the period from January 1st to April 1st.
Yes. Protocol, would you like to read it into the record?
If someone would just like to make a motion to accept the proposed amendment, changing the 2016 Community Development Block Grant Municipal Grant Program from the period 1/1/2016 through 12/31/2016, changing it to April 1st, 2016 through 12/31/2016.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. The legislation is amended. Having been properly amended, I now make a motion that we approve this, move this to the full council, again, under our normal process. Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye. Ayes have it. All right. Is there any miscellaneous business?
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There's no miscellaneous business. Chrissy, has anyone else signed in for public comment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. Joseph Sebas.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Joe Sebas, Director of Community and Economic Development, City of Parma Heights. On behalf of Mayor Michael P. Byrne, who unfortunately couldn't be here because he had to go to Naples, Florida at this time with his family. But on behalf of him and the residents of Parma Heights, of which there's a lot of handicapped people, different varieties of handicapped and physically challenged people, this award that we got for the handicap replacement ramps will make a huge positive impact to the city, helping low to moderate income persons. So on behalf of the mayor and myself, we want to thank, Armand Budish, County Executive, his team at the Department of Development for all their help, and all you ladies and gentlemen too for your support. So we deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Chrissy, has anyone else signed in for public comment?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right. If nothing else holds our attention, our meeting is now adjourned.